Yes, good evening. I'll call to order the December 11th Architectural Review Board for the City of Carpinteria. Couple of housekeeping items to start. We're reordering the agenda. For those of you that have the agenda, we're going to be doing the Verizon project, which was item number 3 first. And then we'll do a matters by staff short briefing after that. And then we'll resume the number 1 and number 2 projects in that order. So with that, we have the applicant for the Verizon project. And Celeste, you want to take over?
Staff presentation.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, staff. And roll call too, I guess. Thanks. I'm new as the chair.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Acting Chair O'Connor.
Present.
Board Member Johnson.
Here.
Little.
Present.
And Board Member Wolf.
Here.
Yeah, so forgive me, we'll do the staff presentation and then we'll come to the applicant.
This is the preliminary review of a request for approval of a conditional use permit and coastal development permit for project 2336 CUP CDP that was continued at the October 16, 2025 ARB meeting. This proposal is to allow for installation of 3 new wireless communications antenna arrays installations and 1 support equipment enclosure that would be located on rooftops at the existing single-story commercial retail building located at 912 Linden Avenue in the Carpinteria downtown core and within the gateway to downtown Carpinteria. As you recall, in the aerial and from our last meeting, you'll see the building located on the east side of Linden Avenue. And the first arrow points to the clock tower installation area. The other arrow is pointing at the antenna to be proposed to be located at the south corner of the building. And then this last arrow is pointing to a support equipment enclosure that's proposed next to parking space for emergency servicing, ladders, and electrical wiring to be installed. The project history is the applicant submitted the original application in March of 2025. Additional items were requested by staff, including design and concealment, compatibility revisions. The revisions were provided by the applicant. The ARB conducted a review where the ARB provided comments to the applicant, and the item was continued to allow the applicant time to address the ARB's comments. The applicant has submitted revised plans and responses to the ARB's comments. Summary of the ARB comments from the October 16th meeting, excuse me, the date on the slide is incorrect. The ARB expressed concern over the visual impact of the installations as a key issue, noting that maintaining the appearance and character of the existing building frontages was paramount. The ARB questioned the compatibility and appropriateness of the selected location, and they asked that more detailed discussion be provided about the alternative sites considered by Verizon, with a discussion of why the other locations were rejected and the current location was selected. If the site cannot be relocated, the ARB asked the applicant to consider leaving the tower alone and studying whether antennas could be moved back towards the center of the building while still meeting the project objectives. The ARB also asked that they receive more information regarding the building's historical significance to demonstrate the structure's level of historical significance, and that the proposed improvements would not diminish the site's historical integrity. ARB expressed concern about existing deferred maintenance of the tower and buildings, citing the non-functional clock, crumbling masonry as examples of neglect, and were concerned that the proposed antenna installations could further add to long-term maintenance problems if not properly maintained. In response to the comments, the applicant submitted the following revisions. The clock tower antenna installations were revised to reduce the size of the installation. Excuse me. Thank you. The installations now propose one new screening fin antenna wall installation on each side of the tower, and the height extension on the existing tower element was previously proposed was removed. The new antenna installation at the south corner of the building has been moved back from the corner, as was previously discussed, but now it's been formalized and reduced in height slightly from 8 feet 10 inches to 8 feet 4 inches. The 6 4-foot tall panel antennas, there were 2 of them at each location, have been removed and replaced with a different smaller antenna model requiring only 1 antenna at each location. The proposed new equipment box dimensions have increased in height from 7 feet to 8 feet to accommodate mounting the intersect cabinet and telco box equipment on a new metal H-frame. The equipment enclosure is also increased in width from 10 feet to 11 feet 8 inches. 1 new wireless electrical meter will be installed inside the electrical box, and the number of wireless ray cap antennas was reduced from 2 to 3. This is the updated roof plan. You see the first 2 locations on the north corner of the building next to the clock tower. I think I can go past this one. You've seen it. As shown in your staff report, this figure zooms in on the existing, or the previously proposed tower construction as seen from Linden Avenue. It's like directly from the west to the east, and it shows how the previously proposed cap antenna has been removed by looking here. Rather than altering the proportions of the tower's existing step fins to shield the antennas, the new fins will make the entire proposal 5 inches lower than height than the existing step fins to shield the new single antenna at each section. The change better addresses staff recommendation that the proposed design be revised to retain the existing patterning and massing of the tower and fins more closely, and the continuity of the appearance of the existing descending and receding fins. The revised antenna panels along the clock tower enclosure also attempts to address prior staff comments seeking to add complementary and contrasting design elements, such as crown, stucco, or embellishments to retain the existing visual detailing that distinguishes the tower and the existing fins. This is the perspective from the corner of Linden and Carpinteria Avenue. And the arrow points out at the first proposal where the raised fin on top of the existing fin was proposed. And now in the new proposal on the second arrow, that's shown as removed. On the next slide, did I go too far? I did. Excuse me. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to skip on to, in this, the simulation that you were shown the previous time, this slide shows the existing view from the east side of Linden Avenue and the photo simulation with the antennas installed here. So you can see that it's created more of a box side. It's very similar to what they presented previously, but that hadn't been vetted by Verizon yet, but now has been vetted by Verizon. This is the existing perspectives from the southeast and the Paseo, southeast towards the building, and then from the very south towards the building. In this slide, we're showing the locations on both perspectives of the new antenna on the roof and then on the lower roof of the accessory building location. These are the views of the existing Cactus Lane from the lane, and it shows the proposed installations to the left of the new slide off to the right-hand side. Excuse me. We reviewed planning and policy consistency during the last meeting. As a reminder that we talked about small town character, provision of adequate services and attractive frontage designs, as well as public spaces and facilities with quality design. We discussed the Carpinteria Municipal Code, wireless policies, and the directives to blend in with the structure and retain the small town character. The Planning Commission findings, which will be made, that are provided here for you to keep in mind. The design focus is on, excuse me, 145690, the proposed wireless communications facility designs. Staff is requesting that the board provide comments on the proposed antenna and equipment installations for in compliance with development criteria B and D. Be much appreciated. A little bit dry there, excuse me. The ARB may consider offering the applicant guidance on alternative designs which may help the antennas blend with the existing building and clock tower architecture while still allowing the facility to meet the required wireless coverage objectives. The board's comments on the proposed project's consistency with the above community design objectives and policy and small town beach character would be appreciated. Some design review issues identified by staff in the staff report as we observed a continuing issue with the site plan face on the existing and the newly proposed site plan. We believe that the proposed sector towers to be mounted on each side of the tower feature represent an improvement over the previous proposal. But we believe that some additional refinements to the design remain warranted. In particular, staff would ask the applicant to consider whether the proposed width and depth of the screening fin wall can be further reduced to better relate to the tower's future proportions or tower features proportions. Detailing of the proposed antenna screening fin walls also remains an important consideration, as currently shown on sheets A1, A1.1, A2.1. The depiction of the tower fins as having a flat surface that is flush with the existing building walls remains an issue. This is not quite entirely accurate in that the clock tower and its flanking fins include subtle offsets as shown here and then correlated with the site plan drawing. So you see as you look at the clock tower, it articulates back and then it provides a depth and where it meets the finishes of the building, it projects a sense of height and distance. And that's being missed in the site plan where the antennas are lined up directly with the side of the building and the existing clock tower is depicted, strike that from the recording, please, is depicted as a flat surface all the way around the corner of the building. We are concerned that that could affect the installation around the clock tower, that it would wind up being inconsistent with the sides of the actual clock tower and not provide some setback away from the side. And this is illustrated in the staff report. Accordingly, we ask that you incorporate that slight vertical offset in the face of the new screening fin wall adjacent to the tower feature, and revise those site plans to accurately depict the clock tower and the proposed antenna. This is a zoom in on the proposed antenna installations. The one at the bottom is on the south side, and the ones at the top are along the sides of the clock tower. In the revisions, the number of antennas have been reduced from 2 to 1 at each location. One radio has been installed at each location, and that's no change. The enclosure openings that are shown and the arrows showing directions on this slide are pointing out locations where public views of the antenna installations could potentially come from, due to the fact that on the plans, the enclosures around the antennas themselves, the shielding, the stealth, go around the front, and the clock tower is fine, and then on the side. But to the back of this, on this one, there is no shielding shown in the plans, and the same thing occurs here, so that the view of the back of the antenna equipment could potentially be had from the southeast across Linden Avenue, potentially the back of this enclosure from Carpinteria Avenue to the north and east, and then potentially through the back from Linden Avenue and uses beyond. And for this one, from Cactus Lane, potentially, but more likely it would be from the uses. If you look at the site and you go to Cactus Lane, it's kind of hard to see the tower. And in addressing one of your questions, one of the excuse me, about what is the view behind from Cactus Lane, you can kind of see the tower from back there, but the elevations will kind of show what I'm talking about as we go through them. So we'd like the ARB and the applicant to consider further enclosing those antennas so that they would be stealthed on all sides. Thank you.
Is this your water bottle, Brent, right here?
It is. If I could take a second, I'm gonna get that, yes.
Give them some drops.
Thank you. The remnants of a cold I had.
Anybody else want one?
Yeah.
I've got 3.
You got your own.
Okay.
They are good.
Okay, on this slide, we're showing the elevation, a revised elevation of the view from Carpinteria Avenue south onto the project site. At the bottom, we have the existing condition, and on the top is the newly proposed project, circled in orange. Orange is yellow. And then to the left, it shows the south end clock tower. And it's shown in red here just to highlight this might be a place where an accidental view of the equipment might occur. On this elevation, move on. This is the view of the existing building looking east from Linden Avenue from the west side. This is a good illustration of the proposed clock tower and the feature changes that are being proposed at this elevation. This is highlighted, the south end clock tower is highlighted because I think it was just an oversight in the site plans that the south or south antenna installation appears to be shown at the edge of the building and needs to be moved back away. I think it's the old depiction of the antenna, so we're going to ask that be revised as well. This view from the parking lot on Cactus Lane highlights the installations. This one is showing the south antenna installation in the correct position with height reduction shown. And we're highlighting the equipment enclosure, proposed equipment enclosure here with the ladders. As we're asking for Verizon and the ARB to consider how to further reduce the equipment enclosure and potentially relocate the ladders from the current position, at least along the Cactus Lane, to a location perhaps behind the fence so that it's not visible and it would be, it's not down onto the street side itself, but might be even more secure off to the side. We're hoping to be able to have this reduced even further. And then, as I was mentioning about the views from Cactus Lane or perhaps the uses beyond, I've circled the back of the tower antenna enclosure that faces out onto Linden Avenue as a potential location where accidental views, as it were, could occur, and we're asking that the back of that enclosure be covered also, so that there wouldn't be any views of that spot, and perhaps that could be designed with a door for access, or all of them. So, and this is a view of the site. Basically from the Paseo at the Tory Shops, and it shows the proposed enclosure, the antenna up here right in this photo that's just opaque so that you can see, or it's allowing you to see through to the antenna installation. We're showing it in the orange because we're not having a problem with that view, but we're also looking here because we're concerned about the potential along Linden Avenue or areas to the south that might be able to get a peek of the equipment from behind the antenna, the one that's facing Carpinteria Avenue to the north. We'd see behind it here. So those are the issues on that slide. A summary of the design issues are potential visual effects of proposed reduced antenna panel screening that would affect the integrated vertical and horizontal scaling of the existing clock tower, compatibility of proposed facility locations within the context of the existing architectural elements, the adequacy of concealment, the design and finishes of the proposed screening elements, and overall project compliance with wireless communications development standards and applicable public views, preservation, and design policies. Staff is recommending that the board should provide comments on the issues that are raised. The revised plans, attachment A and photo simulations, and attachment C appear to come closer to meeting required design criteria by reducing the size of the proposed antenna installations next to the clock tower. And if the board finds that the revised draft project plans meet the applicable design criteria as discussed, the board may recommend preliminary approval to the Planning Commission with recommendations. And that's the end of the presentation. Questions?
Yeah, thank you, Brett. As a point of order, I did miss asking for ex parte
Yes.
for this project. So if anyone's got comments to make, please sound out.
No, I had no conversation with anybody.
did have a conversation.
You have to turn your mic on.
Thank you.
I did have a conversation with one of the tenants in the building. Do I say what we talked about?
It's very good. Board Member Little, anything?
Nothing.
Yeah, and I did speak with two of the tenants in the building about their concerns about the project. So with that, any questions for staff? Start with Board Member Wolf.
I had one question.
Oh, sure.
In the write-up, and they're not, oh, it's page 8, it says the applicant previously shared their location alternative analysis with the ARB. And I don't recall ever receiving or seeing any information about previous locations. Did I miss something?
It was presented as part of the presentation in the map that were presented, and there was very.
Okay.
The alternative location study that came as a part of the last presentation. That also being said, the applicant has been working right up to the last minute and has additional information about location that you brought with you. That's right? Yeah, I mean, if you wanted, she can hand that to you
Eugenia
if you'd
Place,
like.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
come to that
And
when
then
the
she
applicant's-
responded to my email. But so,
Okay, thanks.
Very good. Board Member Johnson? Any questions? Yeah, I think I'm good. You've covered my questions already. So with that, we'll open it up to the applicant.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
yes.
With a project like this, shouldn't the owner of the building have an awful lot to do with this agenda item? More so than the person who's requesting to be a tenant?
We don't require the owner of the building to come to meetings because they've contracted with Celeste Company to represent their project. They've been authorized to speak on their behalf as part of the application.
Yeah, I think it's not unusual for tenant improvements, essentially.
Actually, I did have another question.
Fire away.
Staff, has this building been determined to be a significant architectural, historical entity?
The Phase 2 historic report that was a part of your staff report packet, attachment E, I believe, the criterion that was used in the analysis was by the National Historic Places, and they found that one of the criterion is that it has the potential locally important significance. So it met that criterion as a historic resource. It has not been designated by the city in any of its documents. The city has a few designated historic structures, but this one has not yet been designated as a historic structure officially.
I also assume that maybe somebody did look at the structural integrity of the tower for its longevity at this point in time.
Our building inspector took a look at the building, has seen some issues, and presumably after the planning, the project has gone through planning, these issues would have to be addressed at the building permit level. So before they could pull a building permit, these issues would be addressed. Also, this is a conditional use permit. So if there's issues with the building that have been identified and we present them to the planning commission could choose to condition the project on maintenance of the building.
Does staff think that the clock should work?
It would be advisable. I think it would Staff would recommend that the clock be fixed and refreshed.
But that could be an ownership problem as opposed to a tenant problem.
Well, that's why there's a conditional use permit. It gives us some tools.
Thank you, Board Member
You're
Johnson.
welcome.
Anybody else? Okay, for the third time. Now you're up.
Okay. Thank you. That was a very thorough presentation. You guys had touched base on quite a few good questions. Thank you for allowing me to present today. I'm just going to kind of be speaking on some of the parts that have already been touched on. One of the biggest needs is the community need for emergency services. This project does remain so important in this area in the surrounding downtown for the significant wireless congestions, especially during community events, peak hours, and busy weekends. The congestion affects residents, businesses, visitors, and most importantly, first responders. I know at the meeting last time, a lot of people have Verizon, and they said that their service was good. But this is part of RF's search for a good place that they need to have better service. The alternative site analysis there was one submitted originally back in March, and then an additional one was submitted recently, and we can definitely share that again. I know last time there was conversations about the area Eugenia Place, and that, according to the other antenna that's located, there's one on the other side of the freeway, it's within 0.25, and that's something that cannot be per the code. It needs to be more than 0.25 away. But there's multiple locations that were looked at, and the reason that we went with the one that we're at is the location works, but we have a willing participant, a willing landlord, and that's one of the harder things of finding someone who is willing to work with Verizon on this. And of course, the structure being supported correctly, and we did do a structural analysis, and that was submitted as well with planning. So, but again, we would need to meet codes for all of that in the building process. The design improvements and enhancements, like Brett mentioned, we did reduce the antenna count, and it did reduce the FRP, and I do apologize for not having a sample of the FRP here. There was a shipping issue, so I do apologize for that. But there are some documents that show some, I know it's a picture, so it's a little more harder to tell how the FRP looks. So we can get something over. But the FRP, the reason, we use the FRP, the fiberglass reinforced plastic screening, it absorbs the RF safely, and it can be colored matched to the building. There's various ways we can get that color. And it just provides the effective concealment with minimal visual impact. And I know that the clock tower is a cherished community landmark. And yeah, we tried looking to see, and it doesn't fall under historical, but it is historical to the community. Even though some of this work may not be typical to the Verizon installation, Verizon is definitely willing to look at repairing the clock tower, getting the clock to work and the lights to work, and painting to match the new FRP, just to make sure everything is streamlined and looks well, is if the design is approved. So they, definitely want to work together with everyone in moving forward and getting this project moving. So that is all I have. If anyone has questions, I'm right here.
Okay,
Are
I
these-
think do we take the opportunity for public comment first and then,
Okay.
and then the board?
Questions?
Yeah, I think we do questions for the applicant first. Yeah, so, sorry, Board Member Johnson.
Can you explain to us in these photographs where the RFP is, or RPF, or FRP, or whatever it is?
It's going to be at the top part of the building. So
These pictures, where is it?
These examples you sent us.
Right, and I do apologize not having a sample in hand, but it's
Where
at the
in this
top.
picture
The
is
top
there?
of that, like where your finger just was.
This one? That one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The next one?
I got those on my way here. So
Oh, you didn't have your show and tell.
I got these, I drove up here, it's an 8-hour drive, and I got these on the way, so I sent them over to him. So I do apologize. It's
No
in
problem.
it's in the clock tower, or not the clock tower, sorry, the steeple with the cross.
The bell tower.
Bell tower, yes.
Campanile.
Celeste has been very busy.
And where would it be up there in that Campanile? Is it the dark color?
That's part of it. It's the whole facade all the way around
At the,
is
from
made. But yeah, the
from
dark
that
part,
band to the-
yeah, the
to
dark
roof?
part is where the FRP can,
From the waistband up to the roof?
yes.
Thank you. And the next one?
It's going to be where the black
Okay.
is on those as well. And then part of the building, part of the top structure as well is like going to be the FRP.
Okay, now the next question is, how old are these pictures? How old was the material when these pictures were taken?
That is a very good question, and I can get you an answer for that.
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a date on this picture, 2007.
I saw that. Thank you. But I don't know when the picture was taken. Could have been, well, 2007, I don't know. I don't know when the
When it was
material was
built,
put in
yeah.
place, yeah.
Right.
I just had a comment about the pictures, especially the last one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just plain ugly.
Oh,
Oh, for the architecture, yeah.
Yeah, architecturally, these are
Not something-
kind of massive and in your face. It's like, oh my goodness. So maybe we should have had better examples of how it blends in with the buildings and all. The church blends in, but the others just kind of, ooh.
Well, that's a design matter.
Yeah.
It's not a material matter. We're talking about the material. Thank you.
Board Member Wolf?
Sorry you have to keep coming up. Anyway, Celeste, in the Verizon's, I did a little research. It says that Verizon has 95% coverage in this town. So I don't know if that's not true, but that's what's on the internet. And so if it's got 95% coverage, and the people that came in the room said they all have coverage, I'm just wondering, we're really looking at you guys covering one cell company, covering the extra 5%, I guess, and one company, just one client or tenant getting the advantage of having this cell tower right there. And I was a skeptic the last time around. The landlord seems to be the only person that benefits, to me, with the rental agreement. And
So I think it's question time. Is there a question in there, or is that your comment for the
the
end?
question is, does Verizon really need this? Is this really important?
yes. And
Why?
I provided
Why?
their coverage maps that they.
Speaking of architecture,
Yeah, it doesn't, but, I mean, at a certain point, we are, supposed to try to figure out what's going on and why the proposal is here in front of us. Why? And I'm struggling with that one.
Right, and I recall from
Get-go,
last
if
time
it-
as well, yeah.
If it's 95% coverage in the town. That's all. Sorry, it wasn't a good question.
Thank you. We'll take it up later in the discussion, probably. I do have a design question over on page A4, and it was in some of the presentation material. The south, I guess it would be southeast elevation. Over by the service area, there's some seating, southwest, sorry. There's some seating areas out in that patio adjacent to the nail shop, just below where we've called it a tower a couple of times. I'm not sure it's a tower. It's kind of a parapet almost. Yeah, from the shops. If you go towards Linden, immediately opposite of that nail shop is a patio, a restaurant patio
Okay.
for the cork tree. And I think this assembly, I got a couple of questions. Can it move back any further? And is there any acoustic signature from that specific location? And we talked about acoustics last time, but we were focused on the clock tower part of it. And I'm curious if this, mechanical activity has any.
On the plan. Here's Carpinteria, Linden.
I think it's that.
Yeah,
It's that
that's
piece right there.
on the roof.
Yeah. It's that
And
bit
that's,
right there.
that's affecting the patio on the ground?
Yeah, the patio extends to right about here.
Oh, back here,
Yeah.
okay.
It's not shown in this because it's a plan
Right.
view. It's the neighboring building. So there's a view part, but it's also, I'm interested in, is there any, acoustic signature that's gonna be affecting that seating area?
Okay, so
Visual,
Visual and acoustic.
does it make noise?
That's what I'm asking.
Chair O'Connor,
Yeah.
I have a picture of the location I think you're talking about.
Yeah.
Here. It doesn't show the Linden Avenue frontage, but it shows the where the antenna is
Yeah, the
going to be
pers-
located.
Yeah,
in
the perspective's odd from there because you're in the alley, but that arrow shooting down, in our view, shooting down to the left,
So this,
sits right above the patio of the adjacent building to the
yeah,
left.
this is that patio. I went and stood over in the patio
Right.
and took the picture of that, from that perspective.
Forgive me, let's go up and point it out. Not to be able to hear me. Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there, and there's seating right all the way here. Restaurant seating here. So what I'm interested in is, can we reduce that impact of that view by pushing it further back, even further back?
I can look into that.
Yeah.
Visually, I've walked this, so
Yeah.
I just would need to talk to,
Shorten their utility run.
Yeah, certainly make a lot of sense to me. Now, I think what the discussion was last time is there's a distance requirement from the antenna at the corner or the clock tower where we've all been focused, and how far away that equipment needs to be from it.
So you don't get.
Right, so there's no,
right, so I'll need to look into that and
Yeah.
have my A&E team, design team look at that. Noise, antennas really don't make noise. It's like a light humming, if anything, so there really shouldn't be, but I can get a better,
yeah, I think that'd be helpful for the concerns of the
yeah.
the tenants.
Because there's not typically noise associated with the antennas, so,
If you could clarify, that'd be great.
okay.
Okay. Okay, so that's with questions, unless there's any more. And we'll go to public comment.
If you would like to make a public comment over Zoom, please raise your hand.
We have anyone there?
Yeah. There is no public comment at this time.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to speak on this subject? Okay, so I think at this point we bring it back to the board. Now we can talk about commentary, and I guess to clarify, and it's been a little scrappy, forgive me for being new at leading this board, but I will clarify, as we talked in the last review, the purview of the board in this particular project isn't about the location of the equipment, it's about the architectural features and design of it. I know there's a lot of concern about that, and it kind of reflected in some of the board members' comments, but, and we'll capture that in the notes, but in the end, our commentary and recommendations should stick with design. So, again, forgive me for being a little scrappy here. So we'll start with Board Member Johnson.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I agree with staff that the plan has to relate to the elevations to be drawn correctly and so that they both say the same story, i.e. stepping back the faces of the wings of the tower as they progress to the east and west. or south, whatever direction we're talking about. And the more they do that, the better off they are, as opposed to don't do it just for an inch or two, do it for 6 inches to a foot or a foot and a half, even from the vertical planes to the next plane to the next plane. And the heights, I think, are okay. I didn't have any problem with that. I don't think one person driving down the street the day after they're put up is going to even notice the difference from the day it was put up, from the day before it was put up. I think as long as the colors match, the detailing matches. Closing off the back end, there could be some sight from the second-story units in the neighborhood. So that's a good idea of staff, is to go ahead and close those off on the back side of those antenna locations and boxes, whatever you want to call them. Bringing that equipment from the south up into the roof area is a good idea, as well as the roof ladder and all that kind of thing behind the fence to clean up the visual chaos of that alley back there, adjacent to the entertainment patio, which is next door. I don't think the applicant is responsible for the maintenance of the existing building. That should be brought up by board members to staff to investigate with the city, as well as whoever owns the property and how much they're making off this profit should be investigated, perhaps, but only in some circumstances, but probably not ours. And I think that's probably my extent. I don't have a problem with the project.
Thank you. Board Member Little.
Well, thank you for taking a look at the Eugenia Place. I appreciate that, and unfortunately, it was not a viable option, apparently. But when it comes to the architectural aspect of it, I guess my question is that the material that is being put up there as a shield, does it historically last as long as, for instance, the stucco walls that are up there now? I'm just kind of concerned about that as far as how that would tie in. I appreciate your willingness to take on the task of getting the clockwork, because I don't recall it ever working as long as I've been there, but apparently that would be an interesting solution for some people. Putting the shields on the back certainly would help eliminate any visual problems as well. From the Cactus Lane area, I'm not so concerned about how that looks, because it's kind of messy there anyway. So I think maybe just kind of moving the ladder back in will help eliminate some of the extra clutter there. And I'm hoping that the service for the 5%, I guess, of the people who don't get good service actually benefit from all this as well. So, and that's my comments. Thanks.
Very good. Board Member Wolf.
As if we're keeping it just to architecture, I don't believe a fiberglass screen is a match of the masonry that's been used up there for any reason. I just don't. I don't think that's a good architectural substitute for what's up there. I wouldn't agree with it, if it was in the front of a house or any historic type building. And that's all I have to say. I don't think it's an appropriate placement. I think down the road, something's going to change. It won't last as long, or the technology is going to change, and then we've got that. So I'm just not good with it. And that's it. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Just as an aside, have you seen the material in place that they use? I have. So, have you seen this material in place that they use?
No, I have not.
Okay. I have, and it works really well. And it has for years. for longevity, but I can't tell you how long it's going to last. And I'm sure a maintenance problem can be raised by the citizens.
Thank you. I would echo most everybody's comments. It's clear that there's a bit of a struggle with, the interruption of that design. Although you've certainly made efforts to try to address it, so that's appreciated. For me, it's, coming away from the classic corner, it's that south side and the impact that it has on the outdoor seating, and the entertainment going on in that area. So I would look for that to be improved as much as possible. The things about the integrity of the building and so on, and, the impacts that will be addressed by planning and by the community development requirements for permitting, trust that that'll be in place. So we got to resist the urge to have that influence our thinking here, but it's certainly everybody's worry. Before I suggest a motion be taken, I do have a question for staff. At the risk of forecasting maybe a problem of how many reviews are necessary or limited for these kinds of things, I think it's 5, is that correct?
Right, and we also have the federal shot clock that is told until the February 2nd Planning Commission meeting, and so we are looking for recommendations from you tonight that we can pass on to the Planning Commission, and the specifics to what you would like to see to make it get as close as you can. The issues that you brought up about location will be passed on.
Yeah.
And they will be addressed on a CUP level.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is my first thought from the staff review was there was an awful lot that you had addressed that we would be addressing. So you have the same concerns and even more, articulated in print for the candidate to address. So in a perfect world, we'd send this back for another preliminary to have those all addressed and then look at it again. But now we bump up against the clock and the number of reviews and all those sorts of things. So I think we got to be careful that we don't put the applicant in a difficult position, but approach this in a way that allows all of this to somehow get put together and managed at the next level. So it feels like it's going to be a lot of comments.
Yeah, Chair O'Connor, the staff report makes several recommendations. I would suggest that you could make a motion to take our recommendations and move them forward. And you could incorporate that in your motion if you agree with those recommendations.
So that was my procedural concern for everybody to think about. So with that, I'll leave it open for a motion.
Well, I was just going to make a statement about service from Verizon. Normally in the town, you're right, it's everywhere, it's very good. Verizon services are pretty good in town as far as I know. Now, I haven't been everywhere in town, but I was forced to stay at the Best Western Hotel, and Verizon service there was almost nothing. Now, I don't know why. Maybe just a dead spot that they're trying to cover with this new thing, I don't know. Or it could have been because the Best Western's got a ton of towers, antennas on top of their tower. So I don't know if that's interference or what, but just a little throw out there.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it, to move it on to commission with comments and staff comments, recommendations.
I second it.
So we've got a motion and a second. The question is the detail of the comments. So we have a pretty well-documented set of staff notes.
All right.
Brett, do you feel comfortable you've got everybody's concerns? Of course, everything's been recorded, so that's helpful.
As long as you're good with the staff recommendations and the comments that you've made.
Okay, so for the avoidance of doubt, I would just ask if anyone's got something really burning to be sure that we absolutely get on there. You maybe want to say it now as comments in addition to the board.
But normally they cover it pretty well.
Okay. Please do.
I saw a lot of people in opposition here last meeting. I think they assumed that this wasn't continuing. And that's why they're not here. And that's all. So I think that the community is not up for this. That's my comment, and I represent that.
Okay. Well, I guess what I was asking for was comments that would be associated with the motion. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 No.
Fine.
Motion passes 3-1 with one missing.
Thank you.
I was-
Let Cindy get ready
I
here
was
for the
kinda
take a
wondering
take a
last
break
hearing.
and.
Responsibility.
Can I make one comment to go off of kind of what you said? When I left last time? Oh. Okay, okay.
We're doing the doors. I was just getting them all open, so I've got them ready to go. Just put them in the-
No, it is him.
Well, the matters by staff is George's?
Yeah, I just
Oh, I didn't know that.
wanted to change.
Sorry. Forgive me.
All right, so matters by staff, are we all ready to go again? Okay. This is a quick matters by staff item for the Bono duplex at the corner of Holly and Dorrance. And basically, it's pretty simple. Because the building's old and the foundations, the members are just kind of not quite straight. The request is to change the horizontal siding to stucco, because that way they can move it out to be nice and, float it to be nice and smooth rather than possibly wavy if they do the siding. And then George brought a piece of a sample of what the transition would look like between the stucco and the board and batten siding above.
Oh, it's just a water tube.
Yeah, but I'm
Divides the materials.
correct, and then this acts as a sill, because it's positioned right in the Sorry.
Nope, that's okay. I'm finished with my presentation. The question is to change the horizontal siding to stucco with the wrap around the divider between to separate the board and batten and the stucco.
My biggest issue too on it's because the old house that's there, we didn't build that. It's existing, so the framing, I mean, it's so noticeable. I would never normally change that, but I've tried and I can't. I mean, it's from the visually.
No, it would be white stucco. So
Same colors.
yeah, in essence, it's going to look exactly like it's proposed here, except, solid on the bottom instead of the vertical siding stripes.
Go ahead and
Bottom
turn
part,
your mic on.
George, can you turn your microphone on or pull it towards you a little closer then?
As far as the color, I didn't really approach that with the owners themselves, but we were visually, and again, I kind of just went over this with them because visually, the effects of trying to tie that siding into the others, what created this problem, I guess, or aesthetically looking. I don't even remember what the colors were because I don't have the plan in front of me, honestly, because Dylan never got it to me today like he promised. But
Yeah.
whatever that is, we were just going to try to mimic the same color pattern and everything that was existing with a different material.
Yeah.
Well, the difference.
Right now, it's classic white. Looks like a Dun & Edwards color, maybe, from the number.
It helps break up the mass of the elevation, and it gives a base plane for the building to sit on. It also isn't so subjective to dirt staining it. It has a few benefits as well as visual.
And we do have some rock structure, columns and stuff that'll kind of break it up a little bit in the front too, which looks nice on that visual. And I think the landscape in front too is going to kind of break it up a little bit. They have a little plant
Yeah.
area that they're putting in front of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There are the stone accents here on each side of the garage, and then there's the patios have the stone as well. Correct. Yeah.
George, how high is that going to come?
I think it's just about windowsill height. So I think it's about 38 to 42 inches.
Okay.
I'd rather see it all board and bat myself, but it's not my.
When you have horizontal lines on the drawing here, are you going to score the stucco?
Underneath it.
Well,
No, this is an example of the what was given final approval at the ARB last time with the horizontal siding.
Yeah.
Well, these are the existing approved elevations, and the question tonight is, can they change that horizontal siding just to flat stucco?
So with that being the limiting question, any concerns?
if it's stucco, are they just, we didn't get a new elevation?
No.
It would be the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to use your mind to
I'm
erase
sorry,
those
I
lines.
don't have anything, unfortunately. Like I said, I wish I had it, but
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with keeping the coordinated color too, so.
Yeah,
The white,
I am, yeah.
the white, okay.
I trust your judgment. I think it's a great project. Makes a silk purse out of a sow's ear
I
all the
think-
way around.
Thank you. I think like Richard, you mentioned the garage doors are gonna be a different effect and the stone and the plants. I think there'll be enough to really break it up to
Yeah,
kind
it'll
of
be
coincide
nice.
with each other.
Okay, so just to confirm, you guys are okay with the white stucco around the bottom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We call those samples.
Okay.
Hollywood?
No, it's like a spruce, so they take it and then
Yeah.
everywhere, and it's easy use for patient work.
Don't want dwarf.
Yeah, it's almost better than redwood.
That's what I was asking.
Okay.
That's why I thought red with myself.
Interesting.
They can't get you.
Being
the
from an
redwood
old
nowadays
school.
It's unbelievable. It's like-
Thank you for bringing it in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best material for an exterior.
Yeah.
And what's it called?
So George, when we're done tonight, I gotta talk to you about this, so don't run off when we get done tonight. You,
Yeah.
George.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to do a revision to the building permit just for the detail, for the weep screed and all that stuff.
Okay. I have to do Amy well here and get the control of the meeting again. So we're going to resume item number 1 since we reordered the agenda, and that is the 4934 Linden project, or excuse me.
Wait, 4949, correct?
Is it 4949? I have everything jumbled in my pack now.
Yeah, 4949 is the first one.
4949 is first, forgive me.
Right.
Why do I not have it?
Oops.
So, we'll do 4949 first, and we have the staff report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, ex parte, I guess, is first, sorry. Please. This is hard.
you just go
Anybody
down the
have any-
list.
Anybody have any discussions
No.
on this project? No, neither have I. Remember Johnson, any ex parte? No?
No.
Okay,
Okay.
fire away.
So this is the new single-family residence at 4949 Dorrance Way, and we are here for final review tonight. The description is to demolish the existing 1,060 square foot residence and detached garage, construct a new 3,423 square foot two-story single-family residence comprising of the residence at 3,046 square feet, an attached two-car garage of 377 square feet. The maximum height is 24 feet 1 inch. And new landscaping and hardscape, the new driveway off of Dorrance Way. And this project was reviewed and approved by the Planning Commission on August 4th of this year. So the last time you saw the project was at preliminary review on May 1st. And the your comments were that the second story should be reduced in size, wedding caked, and articulated more to reduce the overall massing and muscular appearance. That the entry alcove should be opened up to reduce darkness in the space. The plant materials are appropriate to include on renderings, but should not be included in the elevation drawings. Eliminate the hedges in the rear corner with the avocado tree, and to provide a different plant palette for each of the 3 new references, meaning this house, the one across the street, and the one around the corner on Linden, all the 3 different cooler proposals. So just to refresh your memory, here's the aerial vicinity map. Here's Dorrance. We got Linden. This house is on the south side of Dorrance, just about halfway down the block. So the site plan, the layout of the residence on the property, the footprint, and the hardscape has not changed. The first floor plan has changed a little bit. So over here, the larger one is the current proposal for final, and then up here is what you saw last time. So the change on the first floor plan is that the this little portion of the front alcove or front porch has been eliminated. So now it's just a square room instead of having the little side part there. And then the second floor, you can see originally it was very boxy. It has been significantly articulated all the way around. You can see all the different articulations and elements, which you'll see on the elevations in just a second. And wedding caked more and articulated. And here's the north elevation. So this is the street elevation. So since you saw it last, the front porch entrance is now with a sandstone veneer. This little window over here, which is actually a bathroom window, is now arched with a little stone surround the top and then decorative tile below. And these 3 windows facing the street upstairs are now arched windows with a little more detail. The west elevation, this is where you can really see how they articulated the second story. This is what you saw before, and then here's the new, we've got the chimney, the change in materials adds a little more variation, and then we have the little element, the pop out here. This is actually the master shower, and that's the window, but high enough that, you know, privacy will be okay. And that's about it for this elevation. And then here's the east elevation. So this would be the side facing, well, it's an infill lot, but it would be, you know, the Linden direction. Here you see this is where the staircase is. So there's a little light, the window here to let in some light. We have a little stone surround for some variation. And then this is the side of that entrance porch, covered porch there. And then here's the rear elevation, just a little pop out here at the back to add some articulation to the back. And here's the roof plan. Again, you can see quite clearly. Here's the second floor roof plan previously, which is very rectangular. And then the new roof plan, which shows how those gables and hips are going to articulate. And then the colors and materials. So the big change on the colors and materials is that it was originally proposed to be the Navajo white, but now they are changing it to the Greek Via, which is the same color as the dark coffee shop up at 700 Linden that you suggested would be a good, not super bright, but quote unquote creamy white color. So we had a little research project, figured out Greek Villa is the name of that color. And it's a Sherwin-Williams color, and that's that. And then the this was originally the exterior light fixture, which has been updated. The front ones will be like this, and you'll see the rest of them in just a second. Just a little more decorative lantern, because this is also the same fixture that's being proposed around the corner on 333 Linden, so it gives a little variation between the structures. And in here again is that same sconce that I just showed you. And then the ones on the sides are a little less decorative, more simple, but still ornate. And then here, just as an alternate, if you guys don't care for either of these, the fallback would be matching the other one, the one that was originally proposed. And then these do appear to be night sky friendly, but I will need your board's 2 cents on that. And the landscaping and the hardscape plan, also that has not changed. So the one comment that Amy had about the hedge being here in the corner with the avocado tree, that has not changed. I tried to, I think maybe it was like a watering issue, I'm not sure, but that's the only thing to point out really on the landscaping plan, because this is the one that stayed the same, and then the ones for the other two houses are what changed. So still the fruit trees in the backyard, and then just the plantings in the front here with some rosemary's added up here and some agaves added in the front. So the issues tonight for comments are the proposed materials change to the front entry alcove from stucco with the decorative tiled arch to the Santa Barbara sandstone, the proposed architectural details and color scheme, including the doors and windows, and the proposed exterior light fixtures, including night sky friendly compliance. And that concludes my presentation.
Very good. Thank you, Cindy. Any questions for staff?
Does staff have any problem with the roof tile that's being presented? The faux two-piece?
Nope.
Okay. It's on my project where I live, and I don't like it.
It's plastic, or is it the S-tile, the
No, it's a cement.
cement one, and you don't like it?
That's okay.
Board Member Little, any questions?
No questions.
Yeah, likewise, no questions for staff. So at this point, we don't go to community, we go to the applicant.
Applicant for any comments or input, and then, public comment, and then,
I just think I'm representing Dylan really, but I think we've addressed together most of the issues that we had discussed over the duration of this process, and I think it's going to be a beautiful addition down there. That corner's kind of scary with the spot parking lot and everything else. And I think it's time that once this all gets kind of cleaned up in that area, it's going to be a great addition to the downtown Carpinteria neighborhoods. And like any of the structures we work on, I think they're some of the top-rated buildings that we were able to, with your guys' vision and help along the way, to enhance the downtown neighborhoods. That's it.
Just to clarify, you mentioned with the corner on the spot, this is one across the street from the spot. Yeah, sorry.
I'm just saying that whole
I just got
parking
confused,
lot
yeah.
with the railroad ties is the bumpers down there.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
It's pretty, it's just it's bad, that whole area, but it's gonna be nice when that all gets addressed.
Okay, very good. Any comments from the public? Anybody in the audience would like to speak? Anybody on Zoom?
If you would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. Okay, Dylan, I'm gonna allow you to talk now. Now you should unmute yourself and try to speak.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Super. I just wanted to make a quick comment in regards to the roof tile. It is a S tile, but it is a simulated one-piece look where there is booster pieces added to the front rows and throughout the field of the tile. So to give it kind of a little bit more articulated, unregular look to simulate a two-piece. That's my only comment.
Okay, I'll close the public comment if there's no one else on Zoom. Very good. And bring it back to the board for any comments or questions for the applicant, I guess.
No questions to the applicant.
No questions.
Likewise. So now we'll bring it for deliberation
Comments?
and comments. Yep.
Just tell Dylan I'm a little disappointed on his south elevation there for those bathroom windows up there, but I'm not sure what to do about it myself. Maybe not both the same, maybe just squares, I don't know. Glass block maybe, different shape, I don't know. It just kind of bothers me, but it's for as nice as the building is to the street and to the other two sides, the south elevation is the forgotten orphan of design. But anyway, I'll leave it up to him to see what he'd like to do with that. I really like the improvements. I can see why the entry tower there, vestibule, exterior vestibule was reduced in width because it gives more of a feature to the window off to the left there to that rest bathroom. And I like the modulation of the second story walls on both sides of the second story. So good job, guys. Except for that tile.
Board Member Little.
I've never done it before, but we'll see.
As far as my comments on the design aspect, I really like the design that you guys came up with, especially after the revisions that you made. I guess my one general comment about all three of the units, where they all started out as duplexes, and I was somewhat excited about having 6 new housing units available for the community, but now we're down to 3 units that probably will most likely be party houses, and the parking and all that. And I realize that's not our issue here, but it's a concern that I would have with that neighborhood, especially with our other board member who is left, who lives in that area. But overall, the design and all, I really appreciate the changes that were made to break up the massive sizes and all.
Yeah, very good. Likewise, I think the articulation was, a massive effort to address the concerns. The vestibule, I think, is a great change. Also, there was a lot of comment in the last review about that, so appreciate that. Color, I think is fine to have, picked off something that's a little more neutral. Does that make sense? Specifically, we were asked about the lighting. I think they're all night sky friendly, so I don't think there's that issue. Again, you're kind of being compared one to another with all these projects, so as long as there's a little variation, I think, leave that judgment up to you.
Thanks, and I think ultimately I'm going to be the one deciding on that, and I think you guys are confident with a lot of the projects we've done in the past, so I can't tell you, I'm going to say that exactly, but very similar to whatever
Yeah,
you're
and
saying.
just a little
Kind
variation.
of I'll make sure that I create the individual structure to make each one look a little bit unique, so.
So with that, I'd make a motion to approve it as proposed.
I'll second.
So we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3 to 2 absent.
How big's that beam gonna be on that south elevation on that ground floor?
Yeah, I'm not too sure yet.
Okay, now we move on to item number 2, 4934 Dorrance, across the street. And when you're ready, Cindy. Ex parte, anyone on this one?
No.
I will say that I did attend the Planning Commission meeting review of this project, so there was definitely a few lively conversations in that one. So with that, Cindy, over to you.
All right. Okay, so this one is, as you just mentioned, this one is the new Cooler residence at 4934 Dorrance Way, which is on the north side of Dorrance, pretty much across the street from the one we just looked at. Also here for final review tonight. So this one is, the proposal includes demolishing the existing 1,275 square foot residence and accessory structures that are on the property right now, and construct a new 4,153 square foot, 2-story single-family residence, of which 3,716 square feet would comprise the residence, and a 2-car garage that would be 437 square feet in size, and the maximum height would be 24 feet and 11 inches. Also new landscaping and hardscape, and a new driveway off of Dorrance Way. And this one was also approved by the Planning Commission at their meeting on September 4th of this year. Or excuse me, August 4th of this year. So the last time this one was at the ARB was for preliminary review on May 1st. And the board was pretty much happy with the project, with the only comment to provide the different plant palette for each of the 3 new residences. Again, referencing the one across the street at 4949 Dorrance, and then the one around the corner at 333 Linden. So that was the ARB comment on this proposal last time. And then when the project went to the Planning Commission, as you may recall, the design guideline 4 for the beach neighborhood, the guideline says that the second story should be 40% of the overall square footage, or not exceed 40% of the overall square footage. And when this one went to the Planning Commission, it was at 46%. So it was a little over. I know, these guidelines. So the Planning Commission wanted the project to, the second floor to comply with that guideline a little better. Or actually, they wanted this one to completely comply. So that was, they added a condition of approval that it needed to comply. And Dylan did a good job. I will show you how he did that quite easily. And then just refresher vicinity map. This is the one, this property is the one that abuts the back end of the spot parking lot, and is pretty much a little kitty corner, but pretty much across the street from the one we just looked at on the north side of Dorrance. So here's the site plan. A little bit of changes on this one, with just some new hardscaping added to the front and some finishing touches to the pathways in the back and around the perimeter. But the shape of the actual footprint of the house just really started to include this back area, which you'll see in a second. So, we have our rule that if a covered porch is enclosed on 3 sides, then it counts towards floor area. So the original floor plan that you saw at preliminary, this was just a covered porch that just went straight out, and this area here and here was open. So in order to increase the floor area on the bottom level, just little side walls were put here and here to enclose that space, which caused it to now count as floor area, which is why the house is now 4,000 square feet, but really that's 400 something of that is actually the covered porch. And then on the second floor, he did push it back here. He did reduce the size. I think it was 72 square feet. The second floor was reduced here, and you can see that blue right here is the old outline of the second floor, and so he just kind of pulled it all back a few feet, this little portion, to get it down so that now it's 39.75% of the total square footage, the second floor. So now it complies with Design Guideline 4. And then on the elevations, the street elevation really didn't change that much, other than that this little area here is now set back about 2.5 feet away from the street than what it was before. And here's the west elevation. So here's that back porch before, and here it is where that little Walda just cleared out to the corner there. And then the east elevation, 2 things here. So here you can see where this little section got pulled back right here, because up here it's a little closer to the front, flush with that front line, and now it is not flush with that front of the garage. And then over here you see the open space here is now partially closed off. And then the north elevation really didn't change at all, because, those walls are on the side, so you can't see them from the north elevation. And then the roof plan, the only real change on the roof plan, again, was just this part came back a little bit, and the little eyebrow roof came back a little bit. And then, on the back, the roof was already over the patio, the covered porch back there, so it did not change the roof plan at all. And then the color and materials are the same, with the exception of a different type of, similar, but a different type of exterior light fixture was chosen for the final, which also appears to be night sky friendly, but we need your confirmation. And the little elements up in here, and then it would cast down. Here's the proposed fixture. And then the landscaping plan has been embellished. Originally, all 3 houses basically had the same plant palette. So now this one has some roses, some hawthorn bushes, and some Berkeley sedges added to the front yard to mix it up. And there were originally 3 olive trees, and now there's only 1 olive tree. The backyard has that still has the fruit trees, but it's the backyard. So obviously, as a resident, you're going to want to have your fruit trees in the backyard. So that's the changes to the landscape plan. So it is now different from the other ones. So the issues for comments tonight are the proposed architectural details and color scheme, including the doors and windows, the proposed revisions to the landscaping plan, and the proposed exterior light fixtures, including the night sky friendly compliance. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Cindy. Questions for staff?
Not for me.
I have one. I just want to confirm the calculation of the 40% differential second floor to the first floor. Sorry, 400 square feet came from the first floor, and 72 square feet from the.
So 400 square feet were added to the, okay, so it's the overall total square footage.
Yep.
So 400 square feet were added to the first floor by putting those sidewalls on.
Yep.
And then 72 feet were 72 square feet, excuse me, were subtracted from the second floor.
Right.
And so when you take the whole total, which is 4,153. And then the area, the second story is 1651. So 1651 divided by 4153 equals 39.75.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I think we go to the client.
Again, I think we took everyone's advice and questions and answers, and we tried to make any changes that we thought were suitable for the project itself. It is a larger lot than the other ones we've been talking about, hence the size of the property is a little bit bigger, this actual structure. I think bringing those that front window section back a little bit, again, gave it a little more variance where we're not shoved right in your face in the street, so it gave us a little more depth and visual to it. Again, I feel it's going to add a great aesthetic to the neighborhood. Again, I don't think it's overpowering. I think it fits the actual downtown beach area, and we're excited to move forward with it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any questions for the applicant?
Not for me.
None.
Very good. So we'll open public comment. There's no one in the room left. Anybody on Zoom?
If you would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. There is not public comment at this time.
Okay, very good. So we'll bring it back for deliberation.
Just a question here. I noticed on the section that the first story little roof eyebrow that sits on the second story, where the second story is reduced back from the first story, looks like a really flat pitch on that roof, and I think it's a little steeper looking on the elevation. So the steeper you make it, the better.
Yes, minimum of 212. Yeah, I'd like to see.
So it's a question and a demand. That's all.
Very good. Comments? So, thank you. And I do have a little bit of a elephant in the room. Unfortunately, this was an odd one as it went through planning. I attended the planning commission meeting, and then I reviewed the recording afterwards. And it was one of these awkward discussions about how to proceed with their conditions, and the condition being meeting Design Guideline 4, DG 4, which is the 40%. And there was a really specific, deliberate discussion, and it's in the minutes of the planning commission meeting, that the bulk of the solution come from reducing the second floor. And I think what are seeing is that's actually not the case. The bulk of the solution came from a creative, well, it falls in this category of you can do it, but it's within the limits, but is it within the intent? And I think that's the awkward part. The other awkward part of it is we've, just like the last point in the last one of the earlier projects was, we're in this awkward moment of coming up against the number of reviews that you can have on a project. And since we looked at it earlier as one level, it was a duplex, and then we looked at it again at the same review status as a single family, and now we're back again. I'm concerned that we're butting up against that limit and the time limit. So we don't want to be obstructive to the process, but it was a very lengthy discussion with the planning commission about that 40%. And I think the conclusion was that they left it up to us to determine whether we were meeting the planning commission's condition. So with all of that, I'm a little uncomfortable saying that what's been proposed actually does meet the intent. I think it fits within the rules as usual. You guys are creative. You found a solution, but it's really not our condition. So it's one of these awkward moments. Who's got the authority? And ARB doesn't really have authority in that sense. So I guess I'd leave it for discussion on protocol. How do we go forward in recognizing that planning was relying on our judgment to their condition?
Okay, question to staff. You mentioned something about the covered porch in the back adding to the square footage of the ground floor.
Yes, by adding the little enclosure walls on each side, that actually counts towards floor area. So it was a way of increasing the size of the house without increasing the size of the house.
Yeah, and to add to the discussion, you know, because I attended the meeting and then reviewed the minutes, and the video it's as much about the design of this property as it is about the neighborhood, the impact in the neighborhood as a precedent. And so sticking to that guideline was a really sort of long, arduous, hard point for the planning commission. And the way I took it was they were relying on us to meet their guideline, or excuse me, their condition. And that's what I'm,
Yeah, as I recall, they
Oh,
they
yeah.
kind of left it with you to confirm that it complied with DG4.
yeah.
They left it to the board.
But that's the awkward part, the compliance with DG4 with the comment that the bulk of the solution be reduction on the second floor, and that's actually in the minutes. You know, if you read the minutes of the commission meeting, I'll just offer that for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, just to throw it out there, it looks like the second floor does step in from the first floor lines, which is normally our guideline. Whether it steps in sufficiently or not
Yeah,
is the
the-
question. Whether or not it could step in 6 more inches all the way around and comply, would that satisfy everybody? Whoop-de-doo,
Yeah.
makes a big difference. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm trying to address what the conditions that the planning commission put on it. And it says it was clarified that the goal of 40% coverage for the second story, which would equal a reduction of 25 square feet based on the first floor. Oops, I'm reading the wrong section, sorry.
Yeah, I recall Dylan and the planning commission had a little brainstorming.
Yeah, so the
of
motion-
several options to how to
Right.
make it work.
So the motion, I'll just read it. Commissioner LaFever's moved that the adopt resolution PC 25006, approving so on and so forth, with one modification that the applicant modify the building such that the second floor meets the design guideline for DG4 criteria of no more than 40% of the total square footage, the bulk of that to be taken on the second story,
The bulk of the 40%.
the bulk of the reduction to meet the 40%. And the awkward thing,
So what's the reduction?
Yeah, because it was at 46%, and so they wanted it to meet the guideline, which is 40% or less. So Dylan,
and the
yes.
bulk of the change, what the planning commission wanted it to come
Yeah.
from the second floor. And what I'm seeing is the bulk of the change really came from
From the first floor.
creative solution on the
It was
first-
massaging. Yeah.
Well, my
But
question,
it complies with DG4 now, so it was a simple solution to make it work.
so it does comply, so it's not a point. It's a mute point.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
Thank you,
a,
mute.
it's a gray mute point. Can I ask a procedural question? How many reviews have we had on this project?
Do you think this is like a SB 330 project that's limited to the 5?
Yeah,
Because it's not.
it's not.
No.
Okay, well, that's a better answer.
Yeah, this is not one of those. Because if that's the case, we've probably gone over our number of hearings between all the
Yeah,
1, 2, 3. Probably this is probably number 5 or 6 right now.
yeah, because of the changes.
So Patrick, are you concerned that the planning commission or department committee would have issues with us
Yeah.
approving it because the 40%
Was met
fix was not from the second
Yeah,
floor?
72 square feet came from the top and 400 came
Yeah.
from the bottom.
Right.
That's not.
Well, and if I can add, you're here for final. Before we can clear it for the building permit, Nick has to approve of everything.
Right.
Because, again, you guys are advisory. So, planning commission is a decision maker. So, Nick would look at all this. He's already looked at it. But, he would be the final word before we stamp the building permit. But I can tell you
Yeah, so.
preliminarily, well, not preliminary review, but when I ran this past him, he was okay with it.
Yeah, so.
Because it complies now.
So with that, there hasn't been a motion made yet, right?
No.
So I guess I'd like to make a motion, if you guys are okay with that. I make a motion that we give final approval with the comment to the staff that be relayed to planning to reflect the design changes that were made to comply with DG4. Make sure everybody's aware of how it was done. Just so we just be transparent.
I'm not sure I understand that.
Yeah, I'm a little
Well,
confused.
just to say that it meets DG4 is, I think,
What's DG4?
DG4 is 40%.
The 40%.
It's the design
which is
guideline.
Design guideline 4 is
39.75.
40%.
Yeah.
So I'm suggesting that we approve on the basis that it does meet DG4 with the added comment that we communicate how DG4 was met
Okay,
from previous review to this review.
okay, just to
That
clarify.
it
Just
may
to
not,
clarify.
that it may not meet what the planning
And it's,
commission had thought.
and again, we're advisory, so we can't pass judgment on the conditions of approval from the planning commission. We can only relay the thoughts. That would help my conscience, for what it's worth.
Well, I'll second that.
Okay.
Oh, Dylan, I think, has a comment.
Sorry, Dylan, fire away.
They're in the middle of a motion right now, Dylan.
No comment. No comment.
Okay.
Okay, very good. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, who seconded it?
Richard did,
Johnson.
first and second. Or I made the motion, he did the second, sorry.
Succinctly worded.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but ultimately, like I said, the number part of it is being.
Yeah, well, we tend to, we have a crisis of roles on this board sometimes, almost every meeting. So I'm just trying to be as clear as possible. So thanks. Congratulations.
I think it was very clear for the minutes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We're good.
I know what he can do with the windows, those bathroom windows. He can project them out, give a little shampoo shelf there. Underneath the existing overhang with one of them or two of them.
I thought you were going to go Juliet
Oh, no, not quite on the shower.
on a shower. Yeah, no, we gotta clean up some things.
We're all line, yeah.
Not quite
We're
yet.
through with you.
Okay.
We're not quite done. We gotta approve some minutes.
Yeah.
I just want you guys, what your guys' thoughts were on those windows on that step first. We did the arched windows in the front, as opposed to the square ones we had in the original plan.
Arch one.
In the other, yeah.
Across the street.
Spanish one, yeah, you know, how we did the arch one.
Oh, that was good.
I was just looking, you guys like that arch?
Yeah.
better
Oh,
than
yeah.
the square
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just wanted to make sure.
It's a delightful thing to see.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the vestibule and, yeah, it all goes.
yeah, more expensive, all those things, details are more expensive. But yeah,
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Cindy.
thank you.
Okay, so, thank you.
Thanks, Cindy.
So we do have, I believe, some minutes to approve.
Bye, George.
13.
Yeah, we've got two sets of minutes to approve,
I read them.
October 16 and November 13. Franklin Trail, and, yeah, we've got to do them separate, I think. So any comments about October 16?
No, I was happy with it.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, motion to approve.
Motion for approval?
Second?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Then we'll go to November 13th, Calle Ocho and TR Lane. Any comments?
No comments.
No comment.
Motion
I
to
approve it.
approve.
Motion for approval?
Second? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes are approved. Next meeting,
Let me get my
are we
calendar.
in
We are-
January?
We are good until January 29th.
Okay.
Yes, yes, we have nothing,
So not the 15th, then.
not the 15th, yes, yes.
Okay, and thanks
We
for,
have a few items coming up then, and including a housing remodel and a couple of Cindy's projects. I have a housing remodel, and then Megan's going to come in with a project.
Very good. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 7:15.
No 18 stories.